everyone's quiet.
Hello, everybody. And this is not Vaping Vinny. This is the League of Extraordinary Vapers. We're finally on it, and we're here. We're sorry we're a wee bit late. We had a few technical issues, but we're here now. We have Andy Belhain. Andy, say hello.
How we doing, everyone? How you doing, mate? You all right?
Yeah, all good. All good now, thank God.
Yeah, I know. A bit of a nightmare, that.
Zippy, say hello.
Evening, fellas. Happy Father's Day to all.
Good point. It is Father's Day. And we have the loose cannon of the vape chat team. We have Chris. Chris, say hello.
Hello, guys. Nice to see you. Well, not see you, but, yeah. I'll remember to be good.
Let's see if you do, Chris. Let's see if you do. Right. We are live. We have people watching, folks. Hello, everybody.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, guys.
Right, then. What we all vaping on? Let's kick off with that, then. What we got in our hands today, chaps? Let's start with Andy. What you got?
I've got my grip, the purple and green spatter with limited edition Gears Apocalypse on top. I've also got the Siege with the USA Met Drive. I love this setup. It's got all the full silvers in it and everything, so it's a really hard hitting one. And of course, the current favourite of the bunch, the Exile, which, funnily enough, just won an award today in Germany at the Vape. And the Vape Award. It's at Berlin. It's won the best mechanical.
Wow.
Which obviously, so congratulations to everyone involved on that one. And I'm vaping a mixture of Sad Boy, and I've got some of this cinnamon fins from Salisbury Vaping Centre, which is really nice. But yeah, other than that, bit of Sad Boy, key lime cookie, and a bit of the Happy End blue cotton candy.
Nice.
And that's
Very
me.
nice.
Yeah.
And Zippy, what you got in your hand tonight, then, my friend?
Stormbreaker with the Dreadnought and customary half moon mods tip.
Yep.
And I've gone for the Shamrock.
Nice.
So nice, that one. And that's about, oh no, I've got my grip over there as well. So I've got that one. And I'm using some Gangster in the Cloud Rage from Electrovape.
Lovely jubbly. And the loose cannon. Chris, what are you vaping tonight? I dread to think.
One of my favourites, the overpowered stack, 21700. That's got one of my favourites, Drip Axe's Strawberry Lemonade, just a little bottle. Then I also have the Half Moon Squonk with the beautiful candy. Love it.
Nice.
The layer cake RDA. Nice little fiery squonk. That has the AVB Liquids Cola Chew inside.
Ah, yeah, you're finding that. Because a lot of people, it's a love-hate liquid, isn't it, Alan?
Sorry?
Well, it's a love-hate liquid, that. You either love it or you hate it. It's a very mixture of people on that.
It tastes like a proper little cola. It is quite nice.
Yeah. Oh, Rex Martin. Hello, Acapella. Hello, Tom. Hello, Tracy. Well, tonight I'm on my Rebel Vape DNA 250 with Death Trap 2 RDA, and I'm vaping some Crimson Clouds, Satan Salute on that. I've got my SQ Squonk with Reckoning. I've got some Mojo Hex, and I have my Siege. Jesus Christ, I need to go to the code then. With my Vitality, and on that, believe it or not, I'm actually vaping some IBG. There we go.
All of mine have got Half Moon drip tips on as well. It's the only drip tips I use. Absolutely love them. So.
You two flashing me drip tips. I'm sat here looking at them. I realise I've not got one on me bloody ones I'm using.
Get him off. Get him off.
So everybody had a good time today.
Here we go. We're starting already. Pick on Vinny.
Isn't it pick on Vinny every day of the week, though?
Well, yeah, it is every day of the week. It is that.
Well, you are Ginger. I mean, it's all I've got anything against Ginger's card, Dave, but I think that you've got a kind of subhuman sort of position in the world. But there you go. You covered it up. There you go.
Don't worry, Vin. We will start a go. Don't worry, Vin. We will start a GoFundMe to get the rest of that haircut finished for you as well.
I like it.
Well, it's not happy, mate. That's what's important.
It matches the beard. That's all I can say. It makes yeah.
You got kind of like a Ginger Mr. T thing going on, isn't it? Really? I mean, like,
Zippy's got his cards out.
Oh no.
Look at my cards against humanity. We're more right.
If I've got nothing good to say, that sign will come out. I'll do flashcards.
Well, I expect we'll be seeing a lot of that tonight then.
Right, then what's the first subject going to be then? We've sat and discussed them. So what are we going to kick off with? Should we go for the big one, Andy, or should we go for the slightly littler one?
Well, let's just start off nice and easy. Whatever you want to talk about, mate. You decide.
Right, should we start off with the so-called Team Free Shit Brigade?
Right, yeah. This is something that, I've heard so much about over the last couple of years since getting involved with the vaping teams and stuff like that, is all these people calling people team free shitters and, just saying they're only out to get stuff for themselves. And I come to realise that basically the long and the short of it is that team free shit couldn't exist without what I call team free staff. And that is companies that are taking advantage of people that just want to get involved in stuff, like, and it's just something that I've noticed. Everyone's quick to shout about people, getting stuff for free or discounts or whatever it is they may get. But, there's a lot of stuff going on. It works both ways with everything, So what's everybody else's thoughts on that? Anybody got any?
Well, you see, I obviously did the video I did after Expo where I went round and spoke to all the juice companies. And to hear smallish juice companies say that Facebook's groups have been tapping them up to £700 worth of juice.
Yeah.
To try and get people in. It just seems crazy.
Yeah, I've heard horror stories like that as well, and I think that there'll be good and bad on both sides of the fence. But, it's like one can't exist without the other, So,
Yeah, for me,
go on, mate.
For me, I think a lot of these companies bred team free shit for the simple fact, going back 2-3 years when I first started getting in groups, they couldn't put enough out there. Now that they've realised to some extent that I see it as a false economy. You know what I mean? It's, you're banging out all this hundreds of pounds and expecting all these orders back. It doesn't happen.
Yeah, I mean,
in every respect.
It's like
groups now have become to assume that these companies are going to give all this for giveaways and stuff, and now that sort of mentality's gone now with them. Now you see them doing nothing in groups.
Yeah,
there's no To me, if you want a customer, you go out, talk to that customer, get involved in the groups.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not just about giving something there. It's about building a relationship with these people.
Getting involved in the community.
Yeah. And there's none of it. You have one or two vendors that actually will, get involved with the group that they're sponsoring or approved vendor on. The one thing I always say to any vendor that comes my way, participate in the group. Don't just put a sale post up or something else. Come and actually speak to the members.
Yeah, it is nice to see the people getting involved on the groups and stuff, and it does happen. But a lot of the time, I think it's the case of a few bad apples. Do you know what I mean? Where you've got like a few groups out there that are just trying to extract as much stuff as they can, and it's not even to be given away to people on the group. They keep it for themselves. And I think it's that kind of attitude.
True. That is really true.
I think it's that kind of attitude led.
I was talking to a few people, me and Vinny, and we've seen it where a few members of groups along Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, things like this and that and the other, they're saying to these people that for them to sponsor that, you know, say for instance Facebook, they had to give them an entire range, the entire range of juices that that juice company makes, or you know, one of each mod for that company for all the admin staff, and it's like that isn't what you need to be balanced.
And you wouldn't get the reward off doing that.
No.
In a lot of cases, you wouldn't get the reward off that. So I can't see what groups like that are promising people.
Well, you know, it's all smoke and mirrors, isn't it? And magic snake oil kind of promises, like, you know, it's, at the end of the day, you know, you've got these groups that are asking for this, that, the other. Now, it'd be something if they were going to do it in giveaways and stuff like that for the rest of the group. But it just seems to me that getting involved in stuff like groups and that, it's not about what you can get out of it for yourself. It's about what you can actually do. Yeah, it's about what good you can do in the community. And, you know, without all the drama and all the other stuff that goes on and everything, I mean, really, in the last year, the activity that I've seen on groups has gone down massively. It's either just people wanting to sell stuff or people wanting to cause drama, you know, and that's kind of left a sour taste in a lot of people's mouths, I think, you know, where they don't want to actually, you know, get involved in anything in case they get called out for saying the wrong thing, or, you know, God forbid somebody have an opinion of their own.
I think we've had a comment from RepSmart, and it's doing a service and receiving free merchandise isn't team free shit, but going around and begging for groups or pages is just outright begging, self-claim. This is the definition of team free shit. And I have to completely agree with Acapella from RepSmart there. Yeah, it really, really is.
I think another thing is
right? I'll give. Sorry, Chris. I'll give RepSmart a mention there, because at the end of the day, that's a bloke that will sit there and actually go out of his way and give free help to anybody. You know, whether it be some graphics, a logo, whatever, he will do his bit, and he does not ever expect anything in return.
Yeah, I must admit, RepSmart have featured me and shared things and promoted me, and I'm cracking. Acapella, Mr. RepSmart, carry on, mate. I think you've got a good thing going there, and the whole ethos behind it is cracking.
I mean, you know, it's like, yeah, I mean, with the whole thing with groups and everything, I mean, you know, I contacted a load of the sponsors off the Vape Den group that, you know, I'm now in charge of, and, you know, a lot of them either didn't get back to me. Nice plug, yeah, you like that one. But yeah, it's, you know, a lot of them either didn't get back to me, or they kind of thought I was asking for stuff, but really all I was doing was just saying to them, look, if there's anything that you want me to do, any promotions, any stuff that you want to be, do you know what I mean, on the group, let me know and I'll see what I can do to help. And I just got met with this kind of reaction of, you know, between bewilderment of the people because I don't want anything back. You know, I'm not doing it for that. I'm doing it for the community, you know, in the group, and to help these emerging businesses in what is really an emerging economy, you know, which is the vape industry. You know, I know a lot of people that have, you know, didn't have a lot of money 6-7 years ago, that are now very, you know, quite well off in the vape industry. And you know, I'm not saying anything bad about that. That's great. Do you know what I mean? And I take my hat off to you if I had one on. But what you've got is you've got a load of people that are practically nobodies, you know, in these groups, and they've got a few hundred members, and they're making all these demands and stuff. And I think that's where the hostility is coming from, you know. But I think that if we can just get back to
that's what I mean. I can't understand what promises these groups are making to these companies in return for that.
No, that's why.
Sorry, go on, Andy.
Nothing. I was just going to say, I don't really know either. I can only imagine that they tell them that they can advertise on their groups and stuff like that. That's it. I mean, what else can they offer, really? But unless
That's literally it. They get to advertise in the group and they get the logo on the banner.
yeah,
That is literally all they get. They get access to their direct group members, and that is literally it. And most of these groups are closed to general public vapors, which is the mass market. Let's be honest. The amount of vapors actually on Facebook and social media
Instagram
is way smaller than people out there actually vaping.
I mean, to reach the general public, aren't members of vape groups and stuff like that, because let's face it, there's only a small percentage of vapers that are involved in vape groups and stuff. A lot of people they don't get involved, but a lot of people have Instagram, and that's one of the things where I see the marketing does actually work properly through Instagram. And really all the groups can be used for is brand awareness. And bringing the brands to the front and showing people what's what. But it's just one of them things that a lot of groups have just turned into mass posting groups with the same sort of posts repeatedly from the same people, just the same thing, just in a slightly different, how can I say, like, it's not even really different. It's basically the same post over and over again that I see in a lot of groups. And a lot of people just scroll past. And I think back to 2 years ago, how active the groups were. Live streams from vendors that, with hundreds and hundreds of people watching, and like, because a lot of people now, they're like, right, we're not doing giveaways anymore. It seems all of these people that preach community and this, that, the other, they're not interested.
Gone straight away, legged it.
Yeah, pretty much.
We've had another comment from Joshua Tilley, who says building relationships is 100% the answer, not just a random post every now and again. Which, totally agree. Totally agree.
Yeah, it's just tiny, that is.
Yeah, he's a good lad.
Yeah. It's something that irks him, is people getting his surname wrong, so that's why I corrected it on purpose. But Josh, completely agree with you there, mate. I just it's all about making relationships. And
I think what the other problem is as well, the industry is saturated with loads and loads of juice companies, people trying to make trying to make a difference within the community, doing juices at a reasonable price and a reasonable quality. Good quality for a reasonable price. And then you've got others that just out there just to make a quick fast buck on cheap, nasty juice that's cost them, 10, 20 pence, say, for a 100ml bottle, and then charging it up at a premium price of, 15, 20 quid. And that also doesn't help. Plus, then I do notice sometimes in some communities where you get a new person coming in, on these, starter kits, like the Drag Mini, Smarks, iJoys, this, that, the other, all these little starter kits, and then they wanting to move up, and them asking questions, and then some people within the community decide to basically take the piss out of them for not understanding this information, not straight off the bat knowing Mum's law, things like that. And I think
but
that doesn't help the community.
That is a very small group of.
Yes, it is a small group.
Keyboard warriors, but the thing is, I see a lot more people now. If somebody goes into a group and starts ridiculing, I hate drama.
Same here.
But you get more and more people jumping on it now and actually defending the person who's asked that silly question and actually backing them up. And a lot of these trolls are now sort of having to find new holes to hide.
Well, but you get as well. There's a lot of clickbait about certain reviewers, certain other not just reviewers, just in general. Just about this is going to go down. We're going to expose this. We're going to do that, and it's all just clickbait to get more viewers and everything. It's not really for the good of the industry. It's not really good for anyone other than people trying to promote themselves. That's the way I see it. And Tom Atkinson has just actually said in the comments here, I'm not being funny, but all the members in one group is in another 100 groups, and these companies are paying X amount to a group to post to the same people. And that's right, there's member overlap, where you'll have a certain percentage of members of one group will all be members of other groups because they've been added to it. And I mean, we've all been what we call rape added to groups, like where you just get, suddenly I'll just be in another group all of a sudden, like, you know, and we get, you know, there's a lot of that going on. But really, I mean, being an admin or a moderator on a group, yeah, it can be frustrating at times, but really all you're doing is just either approving posts or taking them down. A lot of the time it's pointless getting hot-headed with people, but you see it as well. You know, admins and stuff like that acting like, you know.
Yeah, that's where you go back to that thing that you said earlier, where some groups seem to think they're bigger than they are.
Yeah,
Definitely.
You know, that attitude, I'm seeing a lot more now I'm seeing a positive change in the vape community now, where, you know, to a lot of extent, a lot of these admins are being put under pressure now, and it's like they're leaving groups, there's groups closing, you know, and they are now trying to take the groups in a different direction.
Well, I think a lot of what's happened as well is where originally you had a few vape groups, the admins that were on these original vape groups have had some sort of argument, right, falling out with each other, and then they've kind of all splintered off, and each one of them admins or whatever has took a couple of people with them and they started another group, and then, do you know what I mean, and so on, and it's kind of like this big giant family tree of groups, do you know what I mean, that really you could probably trace it back to, like, you know, a handful of original groups, but it's just the same. You know, it's like I say, it's the same people, and it's the same and it's the same stuff over and over again. And you know, it's like on all the British vape groups, there's a serious. It's like people have got to understand this, and this is not just British. This is everyone. Vaping is a worldwide phenomenon. It's not just an industry or a community. This is like a revolution. It's like a movement, right? You know, we're actively trying to push back against, you know, big tobacco and stuff like that, and opt for a healthier choice, and that is vaping. And
that is the core element of it. Let's be honest, that is exactly the core of it.
And you know, at the end of the day, in America, for example, I mean, they're under attack over there. You know, I mean, they really are under attack with, you know, the way things are going with the flavour bans and everything. And everybody in the UK seems to be oblivious of it, but we all know that once stuff starts getting banned in some countries, other countries follow suit. And, you know, it's easy for us to be complacent because of the TPD and stuff. But, you know, really, we need to be helping out our American brothers and sisters and stuff like that, and trying to do anything we can, even if it's to try and get a workaround to, you know, their flavour bans, like, you know, with the TPD, with the short fills and stuff, you know. If there's some sort of workaround, I mean, you know, it was done in the UK, so it can be done elsewhere. But, you know, if nobody looks into it, but these are the important issues.
Yeah,
right?
They really are.
Not who's done what, or, you know, someone's left here and gone there. Ooh, that stuff just doesn't matter. Yeah, big tobacco. Nick, how you doing, Nick? You all right, mate?
Hello, Nick.
Evening, bud.
Yeah.
It would be nice to see a few more groups sharing some of this stuff like the American groups put out, to be fair.
Yeah.
We don't see enough of it over here.
I mean, if you look on my Facebook wall, you'll see that I put up the occasional link to, do you know what I mean, an online survey, or, you know, this, that, the other, and I try and do some, but, you know, I'm as guilty as anyone of not doing enough, because I'm all right, you know what I mean, and that seems to be the attitude of a lot of people.
We're all guilty of that, though.
Yeah.
I think we're all guilty of that. None of us can actually handle
We're okay, Jack. Sort of thing, you know?
Yeah, exactly. You know, but
if you're sharing all this stuff a lot of the time, I think there'll be a point where you're doing it that much, you burn yourself out, or you just stop caring. I think maybe trying to, you know, having that balance of things, or then you start getting a lot of concerns for a lot of
there's not a balance, Chris. There's not a balance at all. Everyone just keeps going on and on about other things. You get the juice companies doing daft advertising campaigns, daft bottle labelings. That's the shit that's going to come back and kick us up the arse, because that will end up. We'll end up in the same situation as America.
Yeah,
I really do think we will do.
I mean, my concerns will be where it'll come to the point where vape shops will be shut down. You can only go to a certain tobacconist or off licenses, and anything vape related will be plain packaging, hidden away in drawers, like we do with tobaccos.
Well, that was kind of one of the worries with TPD, was that, you know, it was all going to get lumped in. I mean, at the time when TPD was actually going through, there was a lot of concern that if people said that it was a smoking cessation tool, do you know what I mean? That then it'd come under the same purview as Nicorette and all of these other things that can only be sold by pharmacists or tobacconists, right? So we were quite lucky, really. We skipped that one on the TPD. They tried it because that would have had a massive. I mean, and this is what a lot of people don't realise. Who do they think it is that's trying to get these flavour bans in? Who benefits? Yes, tobacco companies, and not just because they want people to go back to smoking, but because they've bought up quite a big lump of the juice companies and some hardware companies, and they don't want to have to be innovative. They don't want to have to bring out new juices, new technology. So if they can say, right, we get it banned to just menthol and tobacco flavours and that's it, well, why would anybody go out of their way to buy anything else? Or you just get it from your shop when you get your shopping. And, you know, it's one of these things. I mean, we know that there's quite a few liquid companies that are actually owned by British American Tobacco and stuff. You know, but people, they sit there going on about advocacy while they're vaping on it. And I just think to myself, well, you know, if you really understood it, then you wouldn't be vaping that. But you know what I mean? You can't tell people what to do or, you know, who to boycott, because for some people it's just easier to buy it from Asda, which you can with some of it now. Like, you know, you can buy it from shops like regular.
I don't agree with this whole Asda selling vape liquid and mods and stuff. I really don't.
I'm conflicted on it because, you know, to a certain degree it's good because it's getting vaping devices out there to the public and it's in turn getting more people off smoking. But at the same time, they're not getting any sort of advice or any guidance from anyone. That's the problem.
That's the thing that concerns me. You know, how are they selling them? Have they got people that are experienced vapers in the staff that can offer that help or advice? You know what I mean? That to me is what they need to have to even consider selling the vape stuff.
Yeah.
It's bitten Argos on the arse quite clearly, hasn't it? Because they've had some major issues, haven't they?
I haven't actually read into that too much. I didn't think a company like Argos should have, in the first place, started selling mods. But then, in a way, it's a way
to
money help the people.
They're not. To me, I don't believe that any supermarket has the same ethic that your local vape shop has.
Yeah.
These big Argos and everything else, they're in it to make money and see shops.
Do you know what I mean? Let's not forget that not all advice that people give out in vape shops is 100%.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that.
You know, so this is another thing that goes across the board, right? And let's be honest, certain people shouldn't be selling certain products, whether that be vape stuff or alcohol, or do you know what I mean? Certain people haven't got the ethics for it.
No, I completely agree there. But, you know, 9 times out of 10, most of these little companies, your local vape shop, they are owned by people that want to help, and you know, effectively, they haven't started. I'm talking the long established ones now that have been around, you know, 5, 6, 7 years, or however long. You know, these that are just popping up in the high street. That to me, you know, fair play to them. I'm dubious of them, but I know, like, you know, my mate Steve Hayward that runs, you know, his shops. He's he's been there from the beginning. He knows, and he will help, any vapor that goes in, they get a discount on the stuff. You know what I mean? He's there. He's there, and his latest shop now has been set up, and it's aimed at going back to getting people off fags. It's a quit centre sort of thing. You know what I mean? That's the plan behind his new one.
I mean, it's very easy as a retailer, right, to want to sell as much stuff as you possibly can. And, I get that. Do you know what I mean? Like 100%. But, you go into some places and you'll see a new vapor and they'll see like a mech mod, like a series mod or something in the cabinet and say, oh, I like the look of that. And the people behind the counter are prepared to sell it to them as their first device. And I'm just sat there, I'm just thinking, that's like somebody getting their CBT and then riding around on a 1,000cc motorbike. It's just one of them things that all it's going to do is cause issues. And a lot of the time some people is sales above all else. And I can see that with retailers, because they've got to keep their doors open. But what I've noticed as well is you've got a lot of shops you see stay open for a few months and then disappear. Yeah. Right? Now, these are the ones I believe that are just in it for the quick buck, because they've got into it, they've hopped on the bandwagon, so to speak, tried to get in, but because they didn't know enough, or they, not necessarily knew enough, or didn't understand enough about what they were doing, they've gone out of business pretty quick. And, which is mad, really, because we all know how thriving the vape industry is.
I want to flip that completely on its head. A lot of people slag off the chain vape shops. You've got quite a lot of them, and there's issues with them. But a lot of the time, you find that a lot of the staff in some of the chain shops are generally young vapers, and they are quite well versed in vaping and give good advice. The amount of times I've snuck into a vape shop further away from where I live, because unfortunately every bugger knows me here, and go in the shop and just sort of look around and listen to what they're saying. And generally in the chains, I find a lot of them give better advice than some of these smaller so-called pop-up shops that are in it for the quick buck.
But saying that, there's one shop that's not local to me. Nothing's really local to me, but I mean, like there is one shop that in particular that, I mean, they just sell their own brand of juice and just basic starter kits. They've probably got 3 starter kits to offer. And they sell their own brand of juice, nothing else at all. And they've been there for a few years, and they seem to be doing quite well of just keeping it simple, which, I think that, it's obviously worked for them. And the other thing is as well is with certain products, especially mechs and stuff like that, anything unregulated, there's got to be a certain amount of information passed on to the end user. I mean,
oh, definitely with mechs.
I think that just having on there, this is a mech mod, you should know Ohm's law on the advert, I don't think that's enough. I think there should be an information leaflet in every mechanical, or rebuildable product. There should be one in every vaping product anyway, full stop. But, these are all things that maybe will come along at some point.
That has got better in mechanical mods.
Yeah, definitely. And it's like we were saying the other day, TPD really was pretty good for us over in the UK. I mean, like it cut the price of juice in half. So, it was great for us. We went from paying 15 quid for 30 mil to, nowadays it's sort of like 10 quid for a 60 mil, 50 mil, 60 mil short fill. So, that's a big price difference.
But then you're getting into the territory where a lot of, obviously, the short fills don't need any sort of testing on them, do they? So that's another...
Again, that's the thing. Where do a lot of these short fills come from? Where are they actually made? Who's actually checking on that? Because, our regulations only cover items that have got nicotine in them. They don't cover the rest of the juice. So that's a bit of a worry, which is why I kind of stick to the bigger named juice brands, ones that I know that I can personally trust. But, that's not to say that there's loads of people out there selling bathtub brewers, whatever, but there's definitely nobody checking on it, and you know, let's all remember the pork meat scandal.
Bathtub brewers and places like and what's the other one? Gumtree, places like that. You see people trying to sell juice on and things like that, and you say that doesn't look very appetizing, so to speak. You know what I mean? I've seen some, and I mean, literally.
I bet you still buy it, though, Chris, don't you?
Sorry?
I bet you still buy it.
No.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, though, you saying that, right? I like the American juices now. I mean, I've been fortunate enough to work with a few American juice companies, so, you know, I'm really enjoying them at the minute. So there's not a lot of British juice that I really use, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I've ended up.
You saying that about the labels, I'm horrified to admit it, but I've actually tasted some pretty damn good juices with crappy labels.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Can't judge a book by its cover all the time. And
No.
Arguably, if some juice companies put as much time into sorting out their flavors as they did their labels and their packaging, then, you know, they'd. I'm sure they think it's their packaging that's not making the juice out. No, it's not. It's the juice is garbage. That's why it's not selling. You know.
Don't bother trying to put a nice, really fancy-looking label, putting it in a nice, fancy bottle, all this, that, and the other. Make your juice fantastic. If your label's a bit, you know, bland, boring, whatever, I don't think that's going to affect your sales too much. If your juice tastes fantastic, people look.
Let's be honest, the biggest thing.
If someone's got a colourful label, I'll buy it.
Yeah,
and that's the problem.
I mean, I'll vape it. You know, I'll give anything a go. You know, I'll have a vape on anything. But you know, yeah. I mean, that being said, I have seen some juice in bottles that have looked like a bottle of squash kind of job, like, you know, and just a real basic label, but some of the best juice that I've ever tried, you know, has been like that. And it's so, you know, I mean, I suppose unless you actually give stuff a go, then you won't really know for sure. But
saying that, I have seen a trend of these bottles that look like dog shampoo bottles that are just square and flat, and it's like,
yeah, because they're through letterboxes, mate.
That's the reason. Is that what it is? It goes through the letterbox.
Yeah. From what I can make out, the reason it's like that is so that when they're posted, they can send them out so it's not signed for or whatever, and it can just go into a jiffy envelope and just be posted through the door, which saves. You know, it's a way of cutting down costs on shipping and everything like that. It could, you know, it's quite a good idea. But yeah, I've noticed that it looks like dog shampoo or shampoo.
Quality of the juice inside rubbish or anything. It's just I've been saying, I'm like, it's a bit like unusual. I've seen a few of them. I'm like, what's wrong with the bottle? What's with the bottle? Obviously, yeah, we've discussed this privately in the past and things like that, not about the dog shampoo, which is kind of funny. But it is one of them things. It's if the companies can cut costs to the customer, but still do not kill their profit margin to the point where they end up having to shut shop.
Yeah, but
I completely agree with that. As obviously every company needs to make a profit.
Yeah.
But you also don't want to price it at a point where customers are paying stupidly high amount of money for the same product. They need to obviously balance everything. And this is where it gets sticky for a lot of people, because some people obviously they want to do the best they can and end up doing it stupidly cheap, and they have to bring it up, and then people throw a hissy fit and go, "Oh, I'm not buying your juice anymore." This brings me back when I first started vaping on one of them, V Juice. They used to be like £5 a bottle, and then everybody, like I was told by the guy I bought them off, we asked to put them up to a £10 a bottle for like a little small bottle that big. I was happy about that because it was £5 a bottle, and I was happy to pay that. And then like kind of learnt more about industries and things like that at the point, because I didn't really know much about companies. I've never had interest in running one, and it's kind of like, as I've gone on time, it's like, well, see where it's coming from. I'm thinking to myself, obviously £5 for a bottle of juice was fantastic price, especially when you're starting out.
I think that still goes on now. I think that still goes on now, Chris. I think people are still doing that now. That exact same thing. even from 3, 4, 5 years ago. I think that actually still happens right now. But I think it's so closed, it just doesn't get talked about.
I mean, I've seen some shops, they just charge people whatever they like. One person will come in, they'll make up a price for them. I'm like, you go into a lot of shops, there's no prices on anything. And, you know, people like, they must just be like eyeing up the customer thinking, oh, right, okay, I reckon I can charge them this much for this. I mean, why else not have prices on stuff? If you're not, you know, if it's not like that, I mean, there's always deals to be made and stuff. But
spent all the money on making killer juice.
Well, this is
can't afford advertising as well.
This is the thing, right? A lot of these companies, they're cutting down costs and they're doing this, that, and the other. And yeah, that's great. I'm all for that. But you've got to pass on some of that saving to the customer. Otherwise, you know, it's one of these things where, you know, you've got to give a bit to get a bit. Everyone is, again, back to the community side of things, like, you know, that, you know, a lot of people, they want to buy something for £10 and sell it for 20, you know, and like that's the way it is, and they're like, you know, the more they can sell it for, the better. And you know, I just think that it's pricing a lot of people out of vaping, you know, like from the cost of things. I mean, my advice to anyone now looking to quit smoking and start vaping is to actually just buy a cheap pod system like a Smok Nord or one of the Aspire AVPs. Any of these little tiny pod devices, don't really matter. They're all very much of a muchness. They all do the same thing. Get yourself some Nick salts, you know, because that is the best direct replacement, and you can be sorted for 30 quid, you know.
And that's exactly why Expo was like that. The Expo in Birmingham, the NAC, was pod central. And that's exactly why. There was people all over moaning like hell that it's just full of pods. That's because that's what people are starting to use to stop smoking.
Yeah, I mean, that's what people have got. Like, yeah, okay, a lot of people, what I call veteran vapers that have been around for a while. Yeah, all right, you might not want to hear about the new devices and this and that and the other so much, but then, you know, it's like you've got to make room for the new people coming through. And I think it's very easy for people to forget that we were all starting out once upon a time ourselves. Do you know what I mean? And no matter what it is you do, you always start out, and you know, I see a lot of people feeling like they've like marginalized or alienated because they haven't got this gear or that gear. I mean, I'm happy to say that I haven't really actually seen a lot of elitism where people actually insult other people's gear. Like, people talk about it all the time, but you know, I mean, I haven't actually seen any examples of anyone drilling somebody for having a garbage setup or whatever, or what they perceive to be a garbage setup. You know, and
in a lot of back through sulfur sites. We've got Robert who says, oh no, he's saying about his web page. We've got Vapester that says hi streamers, hi chat. We've got Rep Smart who says never thought I'd endorse Smok, but I just bought a Nord and it's decent.
Yeah,
I've heard some good reviews on them.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of good stuff. I mean, Billet Box have made a bridge or whatever, so that you can use the Nord coils in the Billet Box and stuff. So you know, it's obviously something that's caught the attention of a lot of people. And
they look nice as well.
Does that say again, mate?
A lot of the pods are looking nicer as well now.
Yeah, they are. I mean, I like the drag one that you've got, Zippy. It looks exactly like it's like. Do you remember Micro Machines, like little mini cars? Only you've got really big hands, or that's a tiny mod. Do you know what I mean? It's like, you know,
it come in a box. It come in a box, and the box must have been about 6 times the size there. And I thought, it's going to be a bit hefty. And then I looked at it in the cabinet, and I was like, "What is that?"
Yeah,
but I think it's quirky, and it's a bit blingy.
Yeah,
but it's quirky, but it does the job.
I mean, some of the best-selling, like the me pods or my pods, whatever you want to call them, have been all these sparkly, flashy, sort of blingy design ones, and not just not just women either. I saw loads of blokes walking around at Expo with like these sparkling.
Yeah.
I've got the bug chain on this.
You know, and it's
When
I
I
refuse
saw
to.
I think it was the Jaw, was it, or the Me Pod, something like that, the little pink and diamond.
Yeah.
I think that was being. They could have. They kind of dropped the ball here because could have also, made a less feminine one for men as well as the females. Otherwise, I would have looked into buying one of them, because I've not really used like MTLs and little pod systems, things like that. I'm a huge MTL fan. I mean, I still use this. I mean, as you can see, this is absolutely battered.
the good old drag, yeah. I mean, they're bomb proof, aren't they? You know.
Didn't say what I was using because it was sort of on the side and I forgot about it. But I have that in the car. It batters around. I've dropped it. It gets abused, and I still use it. And then I have all my beautiful little, mods that I don't really take out with me because I want to look after them and make them look keep them looking nice and shiny. But it's like one of those things. A pod
Sorry, Joshua Tillerman like sparkles too.
Everyone loves a bit of sparkle. Let's be honest.
Got rid of my lost vape at Orion, replaced it with a smock Nord.
Yeah.
Tom, Chris, stop swearing. You said the J word. What you mean?
Smart just said he loves that.
Yeah, the Rep Smart there, a cappella, just saying how much he loves the Half Moon Squonker. I mean, they are absolutely beautiful mods. I've got to say it. But going back to that, what Chris was just saying about it being pink and stuff like that, everyone will know one of my favorite RDAs is my bright pink Apocalypse. I mean, I absolutely love it, and people can say what they want, but this is where you've got to be comfortable with your own sexuality to be able to rock pink.
I was knocking them little pink shiny little jaw mods, and I realised I've got the candy, which has got a lot of pink and blue in it, and it's like, I'm not a Squonk fan, but these things are fantastic for what they are.
Yeah, they're brilliant, mate. I mean, aesthetically, they're one of the best looking squonks that I've ever seen, and they work pretty damn good as well. I mean, I've got 3 of them myself, and I absolutely love them.
Stay sat. You don't get your collection out.
Yeah, no.
What?
He's got
I'm saying nothing. I'm saying nothing.
Just are available.
Oh, here we go.
Here he goes, showing off the front collection.
I'm one of them ones. My personal views on this is, if you're using a vape, it doesn't matter the brand, the power, where you bought it from, how much it's cost you. As long as you're not on the cigarettes and you're enjoying what you're using, doing the trick, there, dude, go ahead, keep using it. Be proud of the fact that you've actually managed to come off cigarettes. I mean, I know some people have easily quit smoking and they've used nothing. They've just gone cold turkey, stopped and used determination. There's people out there that have used all the, the other products that can help you come off.
Yeah, I used patches quite successfully for a while, but I enjoy vaping. So, he's got his pocket rocket out. What have I told you about getting out in public, mate?
I've got to stop. I can't help it. I can't help it.
Just when you lift them up. Christ, that's adorable.
But yeah, it's one of them things. It doesn't matter what you're using, what you're vaping on. We're all just vapers, And I think that the vaping community. I mean, Expo just gone, like Vinny says, was the Expo of the pod systems. I missed the October one there, but then the one before that was the Expo of CBD. Do you remember, Vinny? Oh, I remember your live stream. CBD everywhere, and it seems to be whatever is the latest thing. I mean, obviously with CBD, there'd been a lot of stuff, so it wasn't allowed for a long time, and then it was. So obviously at that expo, it was just everywhere. You couldn't get away from it. But there wasn't as much this time. There was still some there, but there wasn't as much. But there was a lot of pods. I think I saw more pods than anything.
We're just having a general chit chat about the vape world and everything else, and trying to keep you guys as interactive as possible while Andy goes on his little chat.
Hello, Paul.
How you doing, Paul, mate? You all right? But yeah.
Come on, then, Zippy. Show everyone these half-moon squonks.
Let's see
Well,
that. Let's see that
How
pocket
you
rocket.
feel
Mate.
about them?
Which one?
The pocket rocket. Come on, let's have a look. Show everybody your pocket rockets. There's not many of these about at the moment, and
Yeah, speak, Zippy, so the screen goes on you. These novices, I don't know.
yeah, absolutely lovely
I
looking.
do love that. I do. I haven't fired that NTN yet. I haven't fired that one, but swell,
That's nice.
Janky.
janky as well. We have fire and ice janky.
In case anybody doesn't know, the Jankies are actually, they've got a slight blem or imperfection somewhere, right? But good luck even finding it on them because it's just
But
impossible.
The one thing it doesn't do is it does not affect the functionality.
No.
In,
But
their quality control is that strict.
Even supermodels have imperfections somewhere.
Yep.
Another one.
Yeah.
And then I'll do these two at a time. Toxic White on the St. Paddy's Day.
Nice.
Yeah. Joshua says, look how happy Zippy is now.
Yeah, this is my time now.
He's only happy
And
when
we
he's
go.
playing with his pocket
That
rocket.
That is one of my favourites.
That's nice, that one. That is really nice.
I'm sure I had
But
one.
to be
that-
fair, the one thing most people don't realise is that they say about the Jankies are like one of ones. Effectively, every half moon mod is one of one
Yeah.
because you do not get the same cut. I mean, if you look at mine compared to Chris's, the acrylic, although it's the same colour, it's a different cut.
Yeah, it's a different pattern. You get
So
different
every single one's a one of one virtually.
You know, so people can see. If people can see.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally different patterns.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Every single one.
different pattern. And
Do you know what actually surprised me? When I first got it home after buying it at the expo, I felt around the ridge here where the aluminium and the acrylic meet, and there is not even on the inside, you cannot feel the joint at all. It's as if they are one. And it until you pointed out about the bolts here and them being glued a couple of nights ago, I was thinking, how the hell have they actually managed to do that? I mean, that takes so much acrylic.
They put the acrylic and the metal together, Chris, and they machine it as one, so there won't be any. Do you know what I mean? As far as I'm aware, like I think that's what they do is they connect the acrylic and the aluminium together, and then they machine it. So that's why there's no seam or anything that you can feel, and it really is a high class finish on it.
And now we're turning into the half moon show, folks.
Yeah.
Right, we'll stop there then.
Yeah, you've got your
carry on.
You've mentioned about 12 different companies, so Chris could be expecting some emails, I think, there.
Yeah. Talking of other companies.
Here we go.
No,
Go on, Chris, what you got?
that's one thing about us, for we won't we'll rep a company as someone that we personally think are a good company and personally make a product or the product that we personally like. I mean, the mods that that I'm vaping on, I have personally bought and paid for myself. No one's ever given me anything, and I would never ask another company to go, well, if you want me to, talk about it on hearsay, I wouldn't expect them to give it me for free. If it's something I am interested in and something I would like, I would offer to buy it myself. That brings into like that whole hashtag team free shit. It's I mean, it's one of them things.
Well, near enough most of mine.
Yes and no.
That one was a gift.
I was there when
Admittedly,
that was given to you. I remember that.
Say again.
I said I was there when you was giving that.
Yeah. But near enough all of my mods have been paid for, traded, in one form or another. You know what I mean? But getting back to your point that you just said about the products and within teams and stuff, that's only half of it for me, and I'm sure I speak for Andy the same. I will rep a team. I will rep a brand, not just for product and that sort of thing, but for what else they do,
Yeah.
for what they give back. Now, going back to Half Moon, they've got community projects that they go out and give to. They take part in, you know, where I believe the one year they built an extension to a school or a village hall, something like that.
Yeah,
And that was the Murphys that went out and sorted all that out and actually went and did that for the community. Now that I will, you know, rep them all day long
No,
based
Tom.
on that.
Rep Smart says, Robert, I would love to own a Frankenskull, and Robert has said he so would as well.
Yeah, and they're like rocking all shit though, aren't they? The original Frankenskull mods and ones that do get sold go for extortionate amounts of money. But yeah, I've never owned one of them myself, but I've seen a few up for sale for really, really silly amounts of money. But you know, go back to that about, you know, people getting stuff for free and all this kind of stuff. And you know, a lot of the time people, you know, they'll be sponsored or, you know, whatever. They don't get given everything for free. And this is the thing that people have got to understand, is that that's not why we do it. I mean, you know, I'm involved in a few companies, and the reason I'm involved in them is because I actually believe in them in particular, not just their products, but the people that make the products. Do you know what I mean? I believe in them, and you know, I want to help them as much as I can. And by doing that, I see that I'm helping other vapors as much as I can, because I'm getting them good products, you know, to be seen by as many people as possible. But, you know, it's not to say that I'm not happy if I get given a little gift every now and again. And, you know, and there's nothing wrong with receiving a little something every now and again. But it's not.
But based on teams that, going back to your point earlier, you said about the elitist. I don't see it elitist.
No.
You know, it's very much helping them, helping the community, helping me grow to some extent. You know what I mean? By what I do. But, you know, I see a lot of these brands that people say are elitist now making their products more affordable in a lot of cases to, you know, shaving a third or half off the price so that people can go out and get it.
Mm-hmm.
It is readily available for, you know, we all have to save for things. You know what I mean? If we can save a little bit of money every week to go and get one, that's what I'll do. But at least now I'm not saving that £80-90 for it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, there is a certain
for a vape that I've got my eye on at the moment. Both Andy and Zippy both know which one that is, and that's the grip. I would love that.
One of these. I mean, they're absolutely beautiful mods. I mean, I love a side fire. That's pretty much all I use at the moment is the side fire mods, because I've got messed up hands, so it's more comfortable for me. But not just that, just the overall look and everything. Just reading.
You can see care's gone into them, and you can see passion's gone into the product.
Yeah. So Tom's just said that if you're sponsored or a reviewer and you're getting stuff for free, it's not technically free, as these people have to put a lot of their time either to test it and review it or push it on social media. And that's correct. It's not free, right?
Yeah. I get tagged with team free shit so much, it's unreal. But people don't realise how much I actually do, one, to do the review, and then two, in the promoting of it as well across social media and things like that. Every reviewer does it. I suppose in a way every review is promotion. But the amount of people that jump on and have a go and things like that.
Right, there's product promotion and self-promotion though, right? And there's two very different things, where you've got some reviewers or some people that are trying to be celebrities, not actually, you know, and it's gone beyond the point of them actually just wanting to be an out-of-the-box reviewer and help consumers and stuff, and they're just trying to get as much money as they can, you know, or whatever. And, you know, I can see, you know, that there's a place for it, and, you know, I see it goes on, but then I hear certain reviewers charging £1,500 or dollars a review, good, bad, or ugly. I mean, come on, it's like, you know,
with a lot of the Chinese companies at the minute, and they was like, how much are you charging us for this review then? Not a penny. Don't want a penny off you. Not a penny. I'm not in it to do that. I've got a career coming up. That's not what I'm doing this for. I just do it because I enjoy doing it.
Yeah,
and it helps people stop smoking.
Rep Smarter says elitism isn't what you own or show. It's individuals' arrogance exhibited towards people who may not hold the knowledge. It's not tied to a product, but a person's behaviour. And
yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
Paul Goodyear says 100%, Tom. A lot of work has to be done. Even one photo to share on social media can take an hour or more to get just right. And that's before any editing and stuff.
Yes.
I've only got a very small amount of pictures that I have on my phone that I've taken of my vapes that I have shared on social media. But then I've deleted hundreds of pictures of the same mod in different angles, different different situations. Now, I know some people, they mate all day, every day, them walking about doing this, doing that, all them at work, their work takes them different places. So they can regularly put a mod somewhere in a different location looking somewhere quite nice. And then it's very quick and easy for them. Or they just naturally have that eye. But happen to really rely on, photo editing software or apps, things like that. Whereas I have to because I only go to very few places.
I mean, it's something I see a lot of on both of the teams that I'm on, is people spending a lot of money on photography equipment to step their game up, and try and, learn as much as they can. They've sort of gone past the point of being happy with taking pictures on their phone and editing them. And, and this is the thing, that's part of the whole team spirit and the team community type thing, is that once you're in a team like that, you all learn off each other, and knowledge is passed around, and it's quite good. So although it's vaping, it also brings in several other hobbies as well. Photography, for example, do you know what I mean, is another one that's brought into it. Other people have got certain skills, like I build coils, and there's all these other little I said build, not sell.
Plug.
No, but it was just one of these things. It started off for me as a hobby. It's turned into something completely different. I still absolutely love it, but it's one of these things that is, like I say, from vaping, I've now got several other parts of, several other hobbies that have become part of, that have come away from vaping with me, which, is only a good thing. But it's, again, people shouldn't feel like they can't put a picture of their setup up because they're not happy that the picture doesn't look good enough quality, because not everybody can afford a £1,000 camera and take the time to learn to use it, because that's the other thing is, you can have the camera but not know how to use it, and your pictures won't be any better than they would have been on your phone. But it's like I say, I enjoy that side of it, and if I can help people out a little bit with like little bits that I know, then like that's another bonus for me. But it all goes back to wanting to help people, and I think that's what has been forgotten a lot in the vaping industry, and it's all now what people get for themselves. So, right, let's have a look. Here we go.
Yeah, Tom's plugging your doing the plugging for you there, and
I know, I just seen, mate. I just seen.
Sub-Zero coils. There you go. I'll say it because you won't.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. To be honest, I don't really think that I need to plug the coils. People that use them are all quite happy with them, and that's good enough for me. And that is the honest truth of it. Is that it's just happy. It's just a happy thing for me to see other people using my coils and enjoying them. It's not about mine being better than anybody else's or anybody's being better than mine. It's just, if I can do that and I can help somebody out, then that's what I do, because I don't charge these extortionate prices that some do. You know, and yeah, it's just something that, like I say, another hobby that's come away from vaping along, you know, with the photography side and everything. So there is quite a lot of different sides to it, I think.
The
And
biggest thing is the kinship and everything like that, and the friendships you develop with people and people like you guys.
well, yeah,
I've met some
That's
of
the
the
biggest
people on
thing.
there.
I mean,
I mean, we wouldn't know each other if it wasn't for the vape. Let's not forget that us four are right here, that, you know, that we interact with each other on a daily basis, regardless if we all live different locations dotted around the UK. And we only know each other because of the vape community. And, you know, that's, you know, I've made a lot of good friends for it. So,
honestly, I have made quite a few friends through vaping alone. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
we all four of us represent different sections of, say, the vaping world. I mean, you've got Vinny as the reviewer, so everyone quite knows him. He does it on a professional level. You've got more professional than the rest of us.
Oh, I'm loving that.
definition of professional is that you get paid for doing it. He's not a professional. You don't get paid for it.
Professional.
Yeah.
But thanks,
It literally is the definition
He's
of being a
still-
professional.
He's still got people giving him pity, giving him free shit.
Yeah.
Right?
You can see from him. They could see this ginger afro come in, right? And they were all hiding underneath the scarf and that. They were like, oh no,
Here we go. Here we go. I knew it was going.
Quick, shut the stalls down, quick. He's coming. Then you've got who works a lot within the community on Facebook, within all the, the vape groups, things like that. Runs a fair few.
And with the NHS as well. Let's not forget that. Vinny's
He's also
a lot of stuff.
male nurse. I think he likes the stockings personally in the skirt.
Yeah. I don't mean that. What I mean is, you know, I know he works with the NHS and stuff, but what I actually mean is, you know, the stuff that he does with the NHS, with the advice he gives them, and, you know, and the stuff that he goes through and everything. A lot of people don't know this. Vincent doesn't like to blow his own trumpet, but, you know, behind the scenes, he's actually done a hell of a lot for the advocacy in the UK. And, you know, I'd like to say a lot of the changes with the NHS and everything, Vinny's had a lot to do with that. And, you know, he doesn't like saying about it in public, but it's something that is really, really good. I mean, I don't know whether anybody knows this, but you can't smoke on hospital grounds, NHS grounds at all, right? You have to go off the property. Now, you're actually allowed to vape. As long as you're outside, you're allowed to vape low on hospital grounds, you know, and that's an actual policy that's been put in by the NHS. So, you know, vaping in the UK is actually been embraced by the NHS now. And, you know, Vinny's been a big part of that.
The National Institute of Clinical Excellence now tells NHS staff that they can actually actively promote vaping, e-cigarette use as a forms of smoking cessation, and that's last 2 years that's been in cancer research do the same thing. The thing at the minute I'm working on a local level with the NHS is staff can't vape in hospital grounds,
right?
But obviously, so that's something I'm working on at the minute on a local level. But yeah, I like to keep that out. But yeah, thanks, Andy.
Yeah.
No, I just really worth mentioning, you know, it's something that, you know, is quite a big thing that you've been doing there, and I just thought it's worth mentioning.
You do a lot with medical backgrounds, try and, you know, give out the right information as you can, wherever you can. Things like that. I mean, it's not like you're just spouting any old nonsense as long as it's making vaping look good, kind of thing. It's, you try and find the true medical side of things. You try and actually make sure it's actually medically correct as possible.
Yeah.
Things like that.
Did you do your dissertation on vaping, didn't you?
Yeah, I did a 10,000 word, well, it was actually 11,000 in the end of it, dissertation on the legitimacy of vaping e-cigarette use as a form of smoking cessation. And it was, some of the facts I turned up actually really, really surprised me as well. I have done a little video on it, but yeah, it's crazy. And the fact that vaping e-cigarette use is actually the most effective means of smoking cessation. It's 25.2% effective in getting smokers off of cigarettes compared to traditional nicotine replacement, the patches and everything, which is only 15%.
Well, they give me
That me speaks volumes.
I used the patches and I ended up getting really horrific, vivid dreams from them.
Yeah,
Like,
I did patches for 6 months.
Remember them days?
I was trying the patches. They tasted vile when you lit the sodding things up.
I was going to say, not close to mate.
Right then, chaps, we've been well over the hour. I'm going to wrap it up.
Right.
We will be back in 2 weeks' time. I think
haven't
we'll.
killed YouTube off. Woohoo!
You what, Chris?
We haven't killed YouTube off. Hasn't
Not
been
yet.
seen.
We've not killed YouTube just yet. But yeah, we'll be back in 2 weeks' time, and I think we'll tackle the rather interesting clone subject area we've discussed, which could be quite an interesting one. It's going to be a controversial one.
And hopefully we're going to have a guest on next time as well. So, you know, that's something that we're looking at doing now. We've got quite a lot of people that have said they want to come on. So, you know, we're going to start rolling it out now. And we have a guest.
On, Andy. Wait. It was literally until the last second before we ended up getting you in.
Yeah, we had some technical issues. I don't know what was going on. But
as always.
I thought my head was going to pop at one point. I was like, seriously.
Your friend, what about mine?
I know, mate. I know. I mean, it was.
So one thing I want to add, right, is if anybody watching has got a subject that they want discussed,
yeah,
and they feel that they can't put in groups,
yeah,
email one of us, let one of us know, and we'll start a conversation with it.
What I'm going to try and do for next time as well is we'll have a little segment where people can actually ring in if they want to ring in and actually come and get involved on the conversation. So, you know, we'll be able to patch people in and, you know, get them actually talking. So, you know, a bit of interaction with other people rather than just comments in the chats.
I mean,
it'd be nice to get to know a few people.
Coming back to nicotine replacement therapies, we had Paul Goodyear, who was on about the Champix before he started vaping. Now, I had a very bad experience with Champix. Like as these guys know, I'm not going to get into it, but it really wasn't good. And my doctors, well, the stop smoking therapist at my doctor's surgery never really went in proper detail with the side effects of what these tablets can do to you. And I personally,
they're horrific.
And I had it was really bad. And it was at that point where I turned red and says, you know what, I'm just going to continue to smoke. And I was going through a 50-gram pouch of tobacco in 3 days to myself.
That's a lot of tobacco, mate.
No, I was a heavy smoker. And that's when my neighbour took me to my local market, not supermarket, a proper market. I paid like 35 quid for a setup with 24 milligram nicotine in the juice. And that got me off it. From that point forward, I will admit, I did smoke a few times when I went out drinking, things like that, because I didn't want to take my mod with me and lose that. But I didn't enjoy the sensation as much as I enjoyed the vaping sensation. As soon as I started smoking, it felt like I'd emptied an ashtray into my gob. Things like that. Yeah, that's one of the things I think that does help with people. I mean, the government are going like, ban these nice flavours, ban them, tobacco flavour only. Problem is, that's what is helping people. People enjoy these nice flavours. Yes, children do like the flavours, but weren't we all kids at some point? And didn't we like kind of, you know, enjoy these things? Don't we?
Don't just for kids, mate. You know, and Nor's milkshake and Nor's, you know what I mean. Any of these other things, they're not just for kids. I love sweet stuff still now, and you know, I don't see that changing. And a lot of people, they see these flavors like Skittles or whatever, you know, and they just, for them, it's kind of a nostalgic type thing because it's just something they remember from when they were younger, or you know, a type of sweet that doesn't exist anymore. And you know, it's one of these things, but they're saying that it's aimed at children and this and that and the other, and you know, unless people actually make a change with the labeling and stuff, then that's going to continue.
Problems. If that doesn't change, there will be problems.
Yeah, I mean, I'm one of them ones. I have a very sweet tooth. I love sweet.
Just one.
Just a bit, yeah. I'm the type of guy that likes coil, like juice that'll kill a coil off in a day or two. I don't, I'm at this end of the spectrum where I'm a hobbyist. I'll build coils for myself. I'll buy the concentrates and add the VG, the nicotine, and the PG myself. Things like that. I'm being as self-sufficient as I can. I'm not saying that I don't go and buy, nick shot, buy the nick shots, buy these short fills and things like that, and support my local vape shops and companies. But it's one of them ones. I have flavors that I enjoy, and I quite like sweet flavors, jam roly polies, strawberry milkshakes, banana milk.
Chris, most kids these days, if you said to them what's jam roly poly, they wouldn't have a clue anyway. So this is the bit that gets me, is that none of
don't
it.
mention spotted dick.
Yeah, exactly, mate.
I mentioned that zip.
Was that it? You had to go to the doctors because you got a spotted dick. Is that what you said?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Right, we're going to wrap this up.
Yeah. Go as well.
I'll just say one final thing. Someone said in something I was reading about the FDA and the flavour bans. It's all subjective. No matter what the label says, it's still subjective to what people taste. And that's where the big thing with the FDA comes in. Because we all taste it different. So even if they say something, it might not be. There's a big doctor in America, I can't remember his name, but he's actually standing up against the FDA, and he's using this as a leverage to try it. Basically, he's saying it's all about the marketing and the labeling rather than what the actual flavors are, because everyone tastes the flavor differently.
Yeah, I mean, I think that you've got flavors like that unicorn tears from Sad Boy, which is a mystery flavor, and you had all different kinds of people were saying it was all different stuff and this and that and the other, and it is very subjective, and it's so everything is subjective to it. But if they don't put on there what flavor it is, at the same time, people are going to be apprehensive of buying anything new. So,
say she'd rather a son steal her juice than steal tobacco.
Yeah, but at the same time, still shouldn't encourage people to vape underage, even though they look better than smoking. In an ideal world, none of them.
He's off again. He's off again.
I think that might have been hypothetically meant. No.
Yeah.
I'd read Mark saying he doesn't like tobacco flavours. And he says you have to want to vape them flavours.
Yeah, and that's what I don't like any tobacco.
I don't know. I tried one an American juice line that did a tobacco, and I never ever vape tobacco. And I tried this one, and I was like, and it was literally vaped. It was gone.
I've heard that some are really nice, but I've just never really bothered with them myself. So
I've found one, maybe two that I've actually quite liked. Well, right. We're going to wrap it up, folks.
All right.
Thank you all for watching. We will be back in a week with everything else and a bit smoother and a bit more professional.
Build it, juice it, suck it.
Here's the tagline.
Keep it cloudy, everyone, and we'll see you all next week. Not next week, in a fortnight.
Fortnight.
Right.
Hey guys.
Bye bye, everybody. Thank you, fellas.